everybody. It's your girl Angie. Welcome back to Kiss My Cheeks TV. Let's get into some more Love is Blind talk. Okay, you all requested me to do this video. And today is Saturday, yesterday I did watch the video on Grace Report's YouTube page. It was a video of Carlton doing some kind of interview with, I don't know what station it was. It was a station in Atlanta. I recognized Shamia from Real Housewives of Atlanta was one of the interviewers. And the title of it was Carlton's Radio Meltdown. I would not have titled it that, but let's get into it. You all asked me to watch this clip of this interview, and you asked me to review this and give my opinion. First, I'm going to say I'm happy I didn't do it last night. Last night, I had all intentions to come home and do this rant and review because I was so angry. But my son had a track meet. The track meet lasted way longer than I thought. I didn't get home till super late, and I just wanted to get warm and go to sleep after that. And I'm happy I didn't because I have calmed myself. I have thought about some of the things I want to take out of my notes because I don't want to say the wrong things out of anger. So let's jump into this. I would not call this a radio meltdown. I'm going to title this Carlton's Speech is Dangerous. And we're going to get into why. I don't like people who use certain platforms to say gaslighting words to people who only want to hear gaslighting words, to fire people up against certain groups of people or certain people. Now, off top, we're going to have this conversation. I'm going to review this. I want you all to get in the comments. Let me know if I'm missing something. Let me know your opinions. I'm hoping this can be an open conversation type of video because, one, I don't know everything. But I want to state off the beginning, I don't care that Carlton is bisexual. I don't care about anyone's sexuality. I actually support the LGBTQ community. Against any hate that comes towards the community. And I'm not personally in the community, but I don't understand everything, so I don't want to say something that comes off wrong. But I want it to be clear that all my opinions in this video towards Carlton in this interview are solely based on his character and the words that came out of his mouth. Nothing else. Nothing. None of it has to do with his sexuality. None of it really has to do with the Love is Blind television show. I'm only critiquing and reviewing and ranting on the words that he said in the clip that I saw. These were his words. I heard it with my own ears. Now, mind you, I did not hear the whole interview. This looks like a clip from Shamia's Instagram Live. I don't know why he allowed Shamia to record him in their off-air moments, but let's get into it. I took notes, y'all. This is probably a video. If I wasn't listening to this while I was driving, this would have been the perfect video for reaction. But it probably wouldn't have been because I was in the car cursing out the radio. It was hilarious. It probably should not have been a reaction video. You're right, Angie. First off, I already said I recognize Shamia. I don't remember. I want to say they said their name was Ryan Cameron, but I know Ryan Cameron in Atlanta, and it didn't look like Ryan Cameron. Maybe it was just his show, but I surely recognize Shamia as the young lady in the video. Now, before the interview starts, this clip opens up with Carlton ranting and raving about not wanting to do telephone calls unless they can screen the calls and the people on the calls are for him. Like they want, because this is not a live interview, this is recorded, and you know how the radio station handles phone calls. It's someone off in the background who answers the phone and say, hey, this is such and such radio station, what's your name? And you know, they can ask pretty much whatever they want, but they usually cue up the person's name. So when whoever, like say I watch The Breakfast Club, like DJ Envy, when he says, hey, this is Marsha from Queens, tell me who you want to put on, who you want to blast today, whatever that section they do on The Breakfast Club. It's someone in the background queuing up the names already. So they aren't just blindly answering the phone. So Carlton wants these people to answer the phone and be like, hey, you're about to be on the phone with Carlton. What's your name? Do you like Carlton or do you dislike Carlton? Because if you dislike Carlton, hang up, dial tone. If you like Carlton, okay, you can come through. To me, that's bullshit. That's bullshit off top. To me, it's already telling me he's the type of person that can't handle criticism, critiques. His apology to Diamond was bullshit because he does not understand that people aren't mad at him for his sexuality. They're mad at him for the way you treated this young lady on television. And because you don't understand why people are mad at you on social media, you want to turn it into people hate that I'm bisexual. No, sir, that's not it. So now I'm like, he has to have yes people on the telephones with him, because Shamia was like, not everyone is negative. Not everyone is against you. Look, Carlton, it's people sending you love. And he's like, as soon as someone does say something positive, nah, they don't mean it like that. And I'm like, from the first 60 seconds, if I was Shamia, obviously Shamia knows him because she did say somewhere in the interview that they were friends and she's trying to help him out and get his point of view across on their radio platform, which is something that a friend would do. But it's like the whole time I felt like in the beginning, Shamia was begging him to stay. Like, please don't leave. What can we do to get you to stay? It's positive people. It's people out here that love you. And it's true. Because it's people out there who understands Carlton's point of view. And people for the soapbox he wants to stand on that agree with his words. Because I was watching T.S. Madison. Her host this past week was someone named Dustin Ross, and he said that he knows Carlton. Carlton is a friend of his, and Carlton is bisexual. He's seen him date men and women, and I'm like, okay, that was never anyone's concern. No one cares that he's bisexual or not, but okay, great, it's true. And I think it does hurt because people get in the comments and say it in my comments all the time, Carlton ain't bisexual, he's gay. And I'm like, if he was gay, it doesn't matter. It's his sexuality. But his friend on T.S. Madison cleared that up. And the way his friend talked about the show, saying things like, they only had a few weeks to get to know these people. Like, that's why I really don't understand the experiment. And his friend was like, telling someone your sexuality is something you want to tell them in person. I understand both sides of the story. I understand this is television. The one thing I'm going to give Carlton about Netflix is I do believe when networks cast these kind of shows, it's certain characters they want to be on the show. It's certain people they look for. It's so many blondes. It's so many black people, so many Latinos, so many people who are bubbly. They need some people with some spice. You know, it's so many different characters they want to have on their show. So when they mix them all together, they can have an experiment. They don't want everyone to be like Jessica. They don't want everyone to be like an Amber. I believe production put him on the show. They knew he was bisexual. They probably encouraged him to get engaged to someone so that they can have this reveal moment. If it goes good or if it goes bad, they just wanted to have that moment on their show. And I believe wholeheartedly that's why production chose Carlton to even be on the show, because they knew this narrative would somehow come to the forefront. Now, he didn't like people calling up there saying, I believe Carlton was only on Netflix because he wanted attention. He got mad when someone said that. Mind you, I'm thinking everyone on Love is Blind wants attention. Anyone who signs up for any kind of reality show, you can't tell me no different. They want some kind of attention. They want some kind of something from putting their life and their business on international TV. Hell, this little baby YouTube channel, I have this channel for attention because I want to have a platform to tell my point of view on television shows, to give my point of view on makeup tips, to give my point of view on current events. That's why I have this YouTube channel. So everyone, I don't understand why everything people says to him. Let's keep going, because it's a lot of things he says in this interview that I have an opinion on. So now we're on the radio, and I'm wondering, why is he allowed to say whatever he wants to say about Diamond, but people can't say whatever they want to say about him? Like, this interview had to happen after the reunion was filmed. It had to, because if Diamond lives in Atlanta, I'm sure she would have heard this interview. Someone would have put her up on game about what Carlton said about her. If she would have heard this before the reunion was taped, because I know the reunion was taped weeks ago, and I don't know when this interview with Shamia was taped. I don't know. I wish I knew the timeline. If you know the timeline, put it in the comments. Because it's no way. He talks so much shit about Diamond. He is the sole reason why people ever had anything negative to say about Diamond. Diamond should not have received any type of death threats, cyberbullying. Diamond did absolutely nothing wrong. And if you did this interview after the reunion, after you apologized for all that bullshit, it was all for nothing. It makes your whole reunion look fake and phony as hell. And if you did it before the reunion, you had a whole bunch more apologizing to do to Miss Diamond. Like, Diamond, you are a top class. I mean, very classy lady. I don't see how you could ever forgive him. I couldn't even sit in the same room with him as much shit as he was talking about Diamond in this interview. So now we're like only 3 minutes into the interview, and I'm wondering, why is Shamia still begging him to take these phone calls? He's constantly threatening about, I want to get up and leave. I would have told him, okay, boy, bye. We'll just play songs for the next 60 minutes. Or, hell, I'll call Portia as, because she good friends with Portia. I'll call Portia and tell her to come up here and talk about some shit on the Housewives. I would not have sat there and tortured myself begging this grown-ass man to talk. Let's move on. So, he's telling Shamia now he did an interview with V103, which is a top radio station in Atlanta. And someone asked him, should Diamond be scared to date him because of health concerns? Which that just means someone was being stereotypical, this is not right, of thinking gay and bisexual men or men on the down low have HIV or some kind of sexually transmitted disease. And I said in my notes, this is Atlanta. Everyone should be scared of everyone having any kind of unprotected sex. That should have been the topic of conversation. Like, forget if you gay, bi, straight. Atlanta is one of those cities that has one of the highest growing um, spreads of HIV, herpes, all kind of sexually transmitted diseases. The numbers are escalating in Atlanta. And it has nothing to do with the gay community, the LGBT community. It has to do with people having too much unprotected sex. People are no longer afraid of STDs because people aren't dying from them anymore. People are thinking, oh, I can just get some medicine. I don't know what it is, excuse me, in Atlanta. I don't live there anymore, but everyone needs to be concerned. So that could have been your opportunity to speak up on that issue. Yes, they were trying to throw you shade because they probably just stereotyping, and it's not right for people to stereotype, but that could have been an opportunity for you to educate listeners on that being a stereotype, and that because this is Atlanta, everyone needs to use protection and protect themselves, because anyone can get an STD, not just people in the LGBTQ community. That could have been an opportunity for him to speak on that. But no, he wants to bitch and complain more about Diamond. And what did he say next? Now he gets into talking about black people. He gets to talking about he wishes he was over there on the People magazine in the Us Weekly, because, or the E Entertainment, whatever that show is called, ET online, because the white people don't treat him like this. He never wants to do urban radio again. And I know I done twisted my head and rolled my eyes, but that's right there, Shamia. Right there. When he would have looked me in my face and said, see, this is why I like to do People magazine and Us Weekly, because y'all black folks act like this. Oh. He would have got cussed out and put out. What do you mean? Is that a sign of self-hatred? I don't like self-hating black people. But let's move on, because it gets worse. It gets worse. So now they're trying to explain to Carlton that Diamond was upset about being called a bitch. And I wrote down what he says. He says, now, what's wrong with calling her a bitch? Is it that, why can't he call somebody a bitch? He was like, them girls on Love and Hip Hop call each other bitches all the time. So I'm like, does he realize this is the Netflix? This ain't VH1 Ratchet TV. This is Netflix. This is a nice, wholesome, loving, fluffy, let's fall in love and ooh and ah, like look at Lauren and Cameron, that type of show. This ain't Love and Hip Hop. We was not expecting no man to call no woman no bitch over here on Netflix, Love is Blind. And then two, one has nothing to do with the other. It ain't right for the men to be calling bitches over here on the VH1, so it damn sure ain't right for you to do it over here. And why is that your excuse? I thought you apologized for calling Lauren a bitch. Didn't you deep dive your ass in that pool to get that ring out and give it back to her for a friendship? Like, I wish. Oh my God. I wish she would have threw that ring in your face at the reunion. I wish she would have took it out of the box and threw it in your face yet a second time. But Diamond, like I said, is a very classy lady. And this is the type of shit he talking about on the radio. Like, he said, these bitches call each other bitches all the time on Love and Hip Hop. Why is it so wrong when I call somebody a bitch? Like, he doesn't see that. Don't say that, Angie. Don't say that. Let's move on. Now he's blaming editing, because he's saying, you didn't see the whole conversation. You didn't see the stuff she was saying to me. That's why I call her a bitch. He's saying that Diamond said, I should have known you were gay because you knew too many Beyonce songs. Sir. So now The only men that like Beyonce are gay. Please. My husband loves a good Beyonce song. A lot of men like his favorite song is that 1+1. That's our wedding song because he loves that Beyonce song so much. What does it matter? And even one, I don't believe 0% that Diamond said that. I don't believe she ever said that. But two, Diamond is not that good of an actress. So you telling me that she was able to curse you out and say, I knew you was gay because you know too many Beyonce songs, but then in the next second, she's trying to rub your back and be like, wait, what's going on? I just want to ask you a question. So you telling me she that good of an actress that she over here in one moment saying all this derogatory stuff, but in the next moment, she looking at you crazy like, why are you turning up? Like, no, Diamond is not an actress. This young lady is sitting over there trying to get her PhD and do so much better than you. So I don't believe that for 1 second. But that's why I'm saying this is the first moment why I'm saying his speech is dangerous, because what he's doing is he's twisting a narrative and lying, saying things about Diamond to where he's trying to make it seem like he was provoked into calling her a bitch, to saying her wig slid back, or whatever he said about her wig. He was provoked because this young lady was saying derogatory things to him. He is gaslighting a community who was already hurt because, mind you, it's a lot of ignorant people out there. It's a lot of people that don't support the community. I know that. I'm not naive to that. But what he's doing is he's making it seem like this was his situation on the show. So he's revving people up who have that feelings, that have been through that, to now show hate towards this young lady who that was not the case. And it's ignorant people out there who may want to attack Diamond, who may want to tear down opportunities for Diamond because they're just listening to their ally, who is Carlton, who is spewing another form of hate all over here on his own because he's lying. That's what I mean when I say Carlton's speech is dangerous. This interview was speaking a lot of dangerous talking points to the people who wanted to hear them. I said I wasn't going to talk politics on my page, but I want to try to compare this to like the Trump supporters. People who only hear the certain things they want to hear when the president is saying his speeches. It's certain things he says to some people who may not support him or whatever. When they listen to him, they aren't gaslit by his words. But it's some people, the words he say gaslights them and they ready to go. And to me, that's what Carlton was doing. He was saying things to the people who all they got to hear is, it's time to go. Moving on, Shamia is begging his ass to stay, and I'm still rolling my eyes in the car. So now he says he should not have done the show because before the show, he lived a perfect life, and he made it seem like, and I never should have even told my story. And I'm like, okay, that was your choice. Same thing that I said in that Jessica video. Ain't nobody force you to go on Netflix and tell your story. Like, I'm sure Netflix wanted someone with your character, but you did not have to be that one. You wanted to be on TV, just like all those years ago, you wanted to be on Real Housewives of Atlanta and you cussed Kenya Moore's ass out. You looking for your opportunity. Now, he's back to the black community. Now, the black community, we push everything under the rug when people are crying out for attention instead of getting them help. Now, right there, that could be a little bit true. That could be a little bit true. Some people do, when people are crying out for help, and I don't know if he's crying out for help or not. I mean, sometimes I'm bad at it. Bad, Angie, I'm sorry. But sometimes when I just don't like somebody and I'm not vibing with their opinion, I can't really tell if you're crying out for help or just talking bullshit, because if I don't like you, all I see is bullshit. Like, and that's where I'm at with Carlton. Like, I know you all probably saw on the TMZ, he got a non-emergency 911 call because I don't know if he called or a friend of his called because he was depressed and suicidal, and they just wanted to do like a well check to make sure he didn't kill himself. And now Carlton is in counseling. I appreciate you going to counseling. Everyone needs counseling. I'm an advocate for counseling. But sometimes you don't know, you don't want to be that person to be like, but what's all that for show? Because now you all up on the TMZ talking and giving interviews about how you want to kill yourself. Backpedal, 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 Angie. I don't want to say anything mean. I want to talk about what I heard. So let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Now, Carlton is saying, when he just said about the black community wanting to sweep things under the rug instead of helping people, I want you all to know he said this right after someone called in and gave him a positive comment, and they were in his corner. So now I'm thinking Carlton is the type of person who wants to be in the negative space, because even when Shamia was trying to show him, look at these comments, people are supporting you, people are supporting you, now he wants to back up and, well, I'm tired of the black community this and the urban radio that. And I'm like, but you were asking this whole time for people to call in and be your yes man. And when they call in to be a yes man, now the black community don't know how to act when people need help. It's like you can't win for losing with him. I would have been put him out. So now he tells Shamia, people have been giving me death threats. And Shamia finally gets up and gives him a hug. And like, Carlton, I'm giving you this platform. Why don't you say this to people? Because when we get on air, you shut down and you don't talk. Why y'all keep giving him this opportunity? Like, I don't... Now, he's shading people. Okay, now this is when he starts shading somebody. Because somebody said something to him, and he was like, people hating on him because he on TV. And he was like, they ain't on TV. They ain't even good. They Instagram ain't even popping, and they want to call in and say something about me. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? Sir, you were barely on TV. You were on, what you make it to episode 4? Sir, you were barely on the Netflix. And is your Instagram popping? I don't even know your Instagram. So, I mean, why is he shading people? Before Love is Blind, no one knew you. No one publicly knew who you are. Yeah, you might have had a little bit of clout around ATL, but no one knew who Carlton was before Love is Blind. Yes, you had that little moment on Roa, Real Housewives of Atlanta, when you cursed Kenya out for talking about the coochie crack, but that was 30 seconds on the TV, and I did not even remember that. Someone had to remind me on Instagram of that moment. So, sir, what do you do? Let's move on. So now he wants to play victim. He's playing victim again. He says, I feel like I would have said less. What? Something about a nightmare. My notes are bad. And then that's when I already said, he's one of them all press, good press people. And now he's back on the black community. He says the black community is on Diamond's side, and she feeds off of that. I have not seen Diamond feed off of anything. I'm sure Diamond would like to push this whole... She wants to push this whole experience under the rug. I'm sure she wants to she regrets ever coming on this show and meeting you. And like, I don't understand. On the reunion, you and Diamond were such good friends. We still love each other. I wish I could take her out on a date. I jumped in the pool and got you this ring as a symbol of friendship. We will always be friends. But now the black community is on Diamond's side and she's feeding off of that. And then he says, Black lives matter, but not if it's Black lives in the LGBT. Sir, really? I don't want to get into that because it's not true. One, every race I know has people for the LGBT and people who are against. Yes, I know black people who are not with the LGBT, it's their religion, whatever excuse they want to not be for it. But I know plenty of people like myself who are for it, who do understand, who are open to assisting, help stop the hate. So I think that's a very dangerous statement to put out there when you have all these black friends that are straight, that are a part of the black community. They against you too. Shamia, she's black. She's in the black community. Is she against you when she's trying to give you this platform to tell your side of the story? Like, Shamia, at what point do you put him out? Because like I said, I ain't watched the whole interview. At what point did you put Carlton out? You can't be coming in my face talking about the black community did this and the black community did that, and we love to support each other, except for if we gay. That's not true. Now, I'm not gay, so it could be something you feel amongst yourself. Let's keep moving. So now it seems like the way this video was edited on Grace Reports, that they edited out the actual on-air interviews, because Shamia comes back and was like, it seems like you got a few good calls, you know, this segment went pretty well, whatever. But now Carlton wants to get back to the BS. He says someone named Kathy calls and said she feels like Carlton was only on the show to get attention. I already addressed that. I said everybody on the show was to get attention, or you wouldn't have been on there. Because no one goes on reality TV to put their life out there just to live their life like a hermit. No one puts themselves out there unless they want a little bit of attention. Either you trying to advance your career this way or that way, or you just want to get your Instagram followers up. No one goes on reality TV to not be paid attention. But let's move on. He goes on to say, so what does Kathy do? What does she do for a living? And I'm like, well, what does that have to do with anything, sir? So only certain people who do, only doctors can ask you a certain question? What someone does for a living have to do with them calling into the radio to ask you a question or to give you opinion? He says he's back to, he loved Diamond. He loves Diamond today, but you just was talking about Diamond being gaslit by the black community. Which one is it, sir? He says Kathy is ignorant. Kathy will never be on Netflix. How do you know, sir? Do you know Kathy? And why is Kathy judging two people who loved each other? And I said, wait, two people that love each other. Diamond loves you. Is Diamond listening to this interview? Because I'm sure after she listens to this interview, the love will be gone. And then he ended the phone call with, Kathy, you be blessed. I said, I wish I would have known of this, and I wish I could have called in and got through. But this is old. So now Shamia is on to, it's so brave of you to come out. And she's stroking his ego, begging him to continue to stay doing the interview. And by now, I'm just getting more upset because I don't like seeing Shamia like this. I don't like people who clearly have an agenda. Carlton was not going to leave. From the beginning of the interview, he was threatening to leave, and he has not left yet. So he was not going to leave. You should have told him, pull his card, Shamia. You should have said, all right, bye, and see if he would have got up and left. He would not have left. As much as he threatened to leave through this little bit of a clip of an interview I saw, I didn't see him at once even attempt to stand up out of his chair. He was not going to leave. He is there to get his ego stroked. I don't like people who get all upset. I ain't got to be here. I ain't going to do this. And I ain't going to. And you constantly begging them, begging them, begging them. But all they really want is for you to beg and beg and beg and beg and beg. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for their ego to be struck. Because now Shamia is on this Nick Lachey shit of how brave he was to come out on TV as being bisexual. Sir, I said it before. Everyone I've heard talk about Carlton said he was known for being gay or bisexual in the Atlanta community. Everyone who has talked about it, this is not a secret. And I said, that's people's problem today. They don't know how to take that same energy that they put out. Carlton is allowed to call Diamond a bitch. He allowed to read her wigs. He allowed to tell Kathy, bitch, you ain't never gonna be on Netflix, all this bullshit, what you do for a living, all this bullshit. But as soon as somebody says something to him, he can't handle that same energy. He's the type of person, he want to be able to give out negative energy, but he can't take it. So, what did I say? I already said that. So now he goes into, he's a preacher kid, and he had to deal with all the drama of being a preacher's kid on top of being bisexual. His family has always supported him, and his family is a different type of family than most black families in the black community. His family is different, and we need more black families like his. I'm not going to go into that because it's a very general, ignorant statement. He does not know every black family in the black community. And sir, if your black family turned out someone like you, I would say we need less. We need less families like yours if they're turning out characters like you. I said it. Oh, well, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. I don't want any part of his self-righteous, entitled, victim playing, needs a soapbox. I don't want no parts of no person like you or anybody who created a person like you. You being mean, Angie. He says his family is understanding. His family made sure he experienced all different kinds of people, all different kinds of walks of life. And that's what was so special about his family. I'm like, sir, that's my family. That's my family. And we don't act like you. He's still upset that people are siding with Diamond. And that's really what it is. That's really what it is. And he does not understand why people are taking Diamond's side. That's because you don't understand that it's wrong for a man to call a woman a bitch in that manner that you did. They shouldn't call him a bitch, period. But you can't understand that, so you'll never understand why people take Diamond's side. Because in your mind, you did nothing wrong. In your mind, you want people. Now I think about it, I see a lot of self-hate. You want people not to like you because you're bisexual. You want people to dislike you for whatever reason because you want the attention of saying that I'm bisexual. Feel sorry for me. We don't feel sorry for you. We don't feel sorry for you. He is too busy he needs people to think Diamond reacted to him in this manner. I just said that. I'm talking before I even look at my notes. He needs people to think Diamond is mad at him for being bi because he needs people to feed into his agenda. His agenda. Now they got this whole thing of biphobia. Like, not, what is it, homophobia. Now people are phobic of people being bi. I ain't never heard of it. I mean, I personally have never heard of that, but let's keep going. He is so self-righteous to see she is rejecting you because you called her a bitch. I don't know how many times we have to say that. In my notes, I said, can somebody call your mama a bitch? Can somebody walk up to your mama and say, bitch, look at your wig? Can't nobody do that. Off top, you ready to throw a drink in whoever face that called your mama a bitch. So why can't you see that that's why Diamond did what she did to you? I said, people like Carlton are dangerous. I said it again in my notes. People like him are dangerous because they love to change the narrative, to feed into their agenda, to gaslight the people who just want to be gaslit. It's tons of people in this world. I ain't gonna say in who community and who not in community, but in this world, there's tons of people who just are waiting for someone to say go. It don't matter who, it don't matter where. Another example. I ain't gonna get an example because I'm gonna get in trouble. Angie. Stop talking. But it's some people, they're just waiting to hear go because they already got they marching gear on. They're just waiting for a leader to come say, we're fighting for this. So-and-so doesn't like bisexuals. Let's fight. And they at home, go. We ready. Oh, is somebody hating? We ready. That's the danger in Carlton's speech because he doesn't realize he's one of the ones. He just wants to be the leader of it. He's one of the ones. And here I go in my notes again. Did Diamond hear all of this before or after the reunion? This has to be taped after the reunion because I just can't see Diamond hearing Carlton talk all this bullshit about her and being so open and receptive at this reunion. Now, he talks about he feels that his character needs representation on television, and I agree. In my comments, a lot of people have stated there was not a lot of African American men on Love is Blind this season. I think they counted that there were 2. They needed more diversity on the show, period. In all nationalities, in just everything. Everyone was cookie cutter, Instagram model-ish to me. So that's one statement I do agree with. You do deserve the opportunity to have your character represented on television, but you don't have the right to treat people however you want them to be treated. Now they're talking about the stigma of a DL man, and he has to clearly say, but I'm not on the down low. I don't even want to get into that because that's a whole nother conversation in Atlanta by itself. The host now tells him to be careful how he says the things that come out of his mouth, but he's continuously talking very negative. He says, don't tell him what to say because white people tell him to be careful of what comes out of his mouth every day, and he respectfully declines the advice of the host. I cannot take it because now he's totally just trashed the black urban community, but now white people tell him to shut up every day, so black people definitely can't tell him to do it. Okay, I'm starting to talk too much, so let's keep going. Now I said, why are we continuously walking on eggshells with Carlton in this interview? Why can't anyone, Shamia or the host, stand up to him and tell him everything that he's saying is bullshit? Like, why is Shamia allowing him to continuously give the narrative that Diamond is at fault for what went wrong in their relationship and why he's getting so much social media backlash. Like, she continuously is like, yeah, like whenever he's talking bullshit, no one is calling him out. And to me, Shamia, that's not good friendship. That's not good friendship if you can't be honest and true with your friend. You're coddling him. I'm not going to say what I just wrote down because I think I've already said enough. I just keep writing my notes. Why haven't they cussed his ass out? I promise you, the interview on YouTube was very hard to watch. Even in my comments, they were like, Angie, I want you to review this. It's very hard to watch, but can you do? It's very hard to watch because 99% of it is them begging and pleading him to stay, begging and pleading him to open up his mouth and talk on air, but off air on Shamia's Instagram, he's saying the most awful things, and then once he realizes he says something awful, he turns it around into being depressed and wanting to kill himself. So now he's back on his soapbox against Diamond because now he's getting death threats. But I believe Diamond got death threats too. I don't. Moving on. Now he says he did not give permission. I guess somebody else on the show gave him advice again, just trying to help him out. And he was like, I did not give you permission to give me advice. Right then, I would have put him out. Like, I promise you, if y'all look at my notes, on every page, I say, why haven't y'all put him out? Because he's disrespecting the host. Now he's disrespecting the engineer. He already done told somebody they can't tell him nothing because white people tell him something. Like, now he says maybe he should leave the station and leave. And like I said, he said that, but he did not make one move. He didn't make one attempt to take his microphone out. He didn't even twirl around his chair like he was going to get up. He says he feels ganged up on and maybe he should leave. Bye. I just don't understand why they ain't tell him to leave. And now he's back to the black community is against him. This is the third or fourth time he says something about the black community. I see a whole bunch of self-hate. I see a whole bunch of self-hate. And at this moment, he tells Shamia, because Shamia wonders what he's over there doing. He says, I'm texting my mama. And I said, this going to sound bad, but I said, I blame your mother. Your mother can get on my YouTube and cuss me out. I don't care. But I blame her. Because he's acting like a spoiled brat. He's acting like someone who's never heard the words no before. I said, parents, you cannot do this to your children. It is a disservice to your children when you coddle them, when you can't tell them no, when you don't give them any discipline, when you can't tell them the truth about themselves, when you don't prepare them for a cruel world. You do them a disservice and they start acting like a Carlton, someone who is entitled, someone who has to be told yes or they are ready to break down, someone who throws a tantrum, a grown man on the radio throwing a tantrum. This is what you do to your children, parents, when you don't teach them these things when they're young. Because now that he's 30, you can't go back and retrain him. Your mama right now could tell you, Carlton, you wrong. And that's probably why you into a depression, because now can't nobody tell you nothing. Because no one told you anything while you're growing up, your perfect little black family that you want everyone else's black family to be like. We're going to hurry up and end this. I'm on my last page of notes. Right now, I just feel like, even in my notes, I said I'm done. I only watched 20 of the 27 minutes because I could not. I think once I started reading his mama in my notes, I couldn't take no more. And I said, Angie, this is where you have to shut it off. It has been 50 minutes of me ranting about Carlton, and that is definitely enough. I know I probably just said some things that Some of you all may read me about, I don't know. I don't personally care because I'm entitled to have my opinion, because he definitely gave Shamia and that radio engineer over an hour of his opinion. So I hope he sees this, because he needs to know his words are dangerous. He is a gaslighter who wants to have an agenda, who's willing to twist and turn this little bit of 5 minutes of fame into a soapbox to rev up people to be against, I guess, the black community. He sure hates the black community, and he's ready to be the leader of biphobia. So I hope it works for you. I hope it works for you. I don't know how many more minutes people are going to give you, because let me tell you one thing, Carlton. They are casting season 2. And trust me, in a few months, once we start hearing more and more about season 2, you are going to be a distant memory. And what are you going to do with yourself then? All right, y'all, I'm done. I don't want to talk about Carlton anymore. I will enjoy talking to you all in the comments, but I can guarantee you, I don't care what clips you all put in these comments, I am not talking about Carlton anymore. All right, y'all. Don't be mad at me. Still subscribe to the channel. Still like, comment, and share, and all that good stuff. And we will have fun about some other topics, okay? All right, y'all. Bye.